Hello, AP Chem students, and welcome to topic 8.7, pH and pKa. The learning objective for today is 8.7.a. Explain the relationship between the predominant form of a weak acid or base in a solution at a given pH and the pKa of the conjugate acid or the pKb of the conjugate base. So, why does this do this to me every single time? There we go. So, a quick way to decide what form is dominating in solution is to compare the pH of a solution to the pKa of the acid in that solution. And as the title of this slide suggests, I think the easiest way to think about that is to think about a titration curve, okay? So we've looked at this before. So this is a weak acid, strong base titration curve. So we have the buffering region, we have the half equivalence point where your pH is equal to your pKa. That's important for you to keep in mind in this topic. Your equivalence point is going to be greater, your pH is going to be greater than 7 because of the presence of the relatively strong conjugate base. Okay, so for the titration of an acid with a base, when the pH is less than the pKa of the acid, then the acid, the protonated form, dominates. And you can see that here. So here's your pKa, your pH is less than that, and so your acid form dominates. Now, you would not need to know, you would not need to graph the data in order to figure this out. You can just kind of remember this, but I think having the shape of the graph in your mind will help you to remember it. If your pH is greater than your pKa of your acid, then the base or the deprotonated form dominates. And again, that's because at that point you are past the half equivalence point. And so you've got more of the concentration of base because a greater portion of the molecules have changed from being protonated to deprotonated. So then this brings us to something called indicators. So some substances exhibit different colors based on their protonation state. In titration, substances called indicators that show this color changing property are used to determine when the titration has reached the equivalence point. They're usually a weak acid, and in titrations that use an indicator are performed to the end point, which is different than the equivalence point. So the end point is the point at which the color change is seen. It doesn't always happen at pH 7, doesn't often happen at pH 7. It is important to choose an appropriate indicator. The indicator must change colors over a pH range that includes the equivalence point, and the endpoint and the equivalence point are not always the same. So then why is it valid to stop the titration at the endpoint instead of the equivalence point? Well, the pH rises sharply at the equivalence point. Okay, you remember that part of the graph where it kind of goes vertical. So in terms of volume, there's no or maybe little difference between the endpoint and the equivalence point. Let me show you some graphs here. So this is phenolphthalein, which is a really common indicator that we use in acid-base titrations. So at a pH of 7, phenolphthalein is clear. That's your equivalence point for a strong acid, strong base titration. But at pH of 10, you can see it's got this pretty pink color. So if we look at this titration curve here, right, so this would be a strong acid, strong base, which we can tell because we have the absence of a buffering region here, right? This is just flat. So equivalence point is at 7. That's another way we can tell the strong acid, strong base. So you can see that the color change doesn't actually begin until just after 8. However, if we look at the volume on the x-axis, notice that the difference between your equivalence point and the next point on your graph right here, okay, so this is all at the same volume, and then the next drop, okay, would move past your equivalence point, right, in terms of volume. And so that's where we would see the color change. And so that's why it's valid, because this is such a steep increase in pH, it goes vertical, that literally one drop makes the difference. Now, I do want to show you that this dark pink color, that's actually too far. We don't want our indicator to be that vivid in order for us to determine that that is the endpoint. This is a better color here. You can see this is the very faintest pink of pinks. Okay, here we've got clear, this is pink, and then this is too far. So a lot of times when we do a titration, we recommend that you put a piece of white paper underneath so that you can see that color change. It's also kind of interesting because you'll notice that when you're getting close to your equivalence point, your color will start to linger in the solution. And then you can mix it and make it go away, like just by swirling it, but it starts to linger longer and longer. And so you want to slow down when you start to see that happen. Okay, so let's talk about Ka expressions, or sometimes we call them Kin expressions. So an indicator changes color based on its protonation form. and it undergoes the following dissociation. So you have your HIN in water, and then that dissociates into H3O plus, and then your conjugate base is this IN minus. IN, of course, being indicator. So if we look over here at this graphic, your pH is equal to your pKa, or your pKin, sometimes it's called, right? And so this is kind of the midpoint. The indicator's color transition range will be at some point above that and at some point below that. So when you have IN minus, the indicator, this is what color would show for the IN minus form, and this is what color would show for the protonated HIN form. And so then this is your Ka expression, right? You got your products over reactants again. And so to ensure accurate results, an indicator should be chosen so that the pKa of the indicator is close to the pH of the equivalence point. And so then we would see that the color change would happen on either side of the equivalence point, and that's what we want, right? Okay, and so then the protonated versus deprotonated form is what allows us to tell if we have reached the equivalence point or not. So then what should you be able to do with this? Well, you should be able to determine if a weak acid or conjugate base is in higher concentration by comparing values of pH and pKa. And you should be able to select an appropriate indicator for titration, remembering that you want your color change to happen over a range in which the equivalence point is found. And ideally, you want your pKa of your indicator to be pretty close to your pH. We usually say kind of plus or minus 1. And that's it. So then I will see you soon for the next topic.